Welcome to this episode of Life on the Streets, the greatest show on earth. I'm your host, Rick.
I'm Tom.
This is Tom. Today we've got a special guest that we will introduce here in a few moments. I think this is going to be really fun. I've been looking forward to this one here. This is going to be a interesting interview, so I think people are going to like it. All right, but first we got to start with our tomfoolery moment. All right, we always got to lead off with making Tom look good. Okay.
Yeah, let's see how well this is going to work out since you came unprepared and had to think of the question 5 minutes ago.
Well, there you go. So may not be a good question. Okay. All right. So who who's in charge in your house and why?
Dude, that is a messed up question. My wife,
Why?
huh? Because she's smarter than I am.
Well, dude, that's given.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still the truth. She's smarter than I am. She can
Well,
run the household better. Like I
are,
just
are
do,
you
I just do honeydew list,
are you
man.
afraid of her?
No, not afraid of her.
Oh, that is such shit.
We have
I've
a
seen
partnership.
you. I have
We
seen
have a
you.
partnership, man. I am not afraid of my wife.
Really? Because I'm afraid of your wife.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are.
Your wife scares the crap out of me.
Oh, great. She's gonna watch this and be like, what the hell is wrong with Rick?
Uh, uh,
All
she scares me. She
right, so
should maybe tone it down.
that was an easy question, dude.
All
That was
right,
not
there you
that
go.
was not hard.
And
Sorry, folks. He'll come up with something better next time.
I will. It was short notice. Uh, Not really. I just dropped the ball. All right. So today's special guest here is Brian Roman, but we call him Roman. Okay. So Brian Roman, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Brian Roman or Roman. Work for the Pueblo Police Department down here in Pueblo, Colorado, and been here for working on the 24th year coming up. So it's been a good long career and taken lots of different paths in my journey. And man, it's been great. I tell you, I think it's one of those things. It's best job in the world, and I'm just lucky that I got to experience it for as long as I did it. It could end tomorrow, and I'd be happy, but hopefully, I got a few more years in me, and it's good to see a lot of my family join up. So we've got a long legacy, lots of service, and man, it's been a good gig.
Awesome. All right. So having said that, so you are our first generation, second generation.
Well, my great grandfather from Ireland was one of the first person to serve in our family. He was a Meehan from Ireland, and he served out in Pittsburgh, is what we found through some genetic stuff. But really, one of the big leading forces was my uncle Ernie. Served for Denver PD. So Ernest Martinez retired as a lieutenant
I
like
knew
40
him.
plus. Yeah.
I knew him very well.
Of course you did.
Old guys
He
always know
worked.
somebody. That's what I'm finding out.
Yeah.
I'm old, so my memory is foggy. But he did narcotics.
He did narcotics. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
narcotics.
See. Yeah. So very cool. Very cool. So and so the apple doesn't fall far from the bush, right? Because I would
The
say
tree.
tree, but he's your uncle, right?
He is. Yeah, he is. And historically, he kind of rounded a bunch of us nephews in to take the law enforcement career. We do have one. I have another uncle. He's the lone hose dragger. He was a fire chief up in Colorado Springs. Louis Roman or Roman. It depends on who you talk to. But he was a fire chief there, and then he went to Las Cruces. But his son Damon, 10th group guy, saw the right way, and he's a cop up in Denver. And then my oldest son is an officer and a deputy down in Florida, and his wife, my daughter-in-law, they're also deputies down. So we've got lots of cousins all along the Front
Wow.
Range around the country. A few in corrections, but a lot of and corrections on the guard side, not the bar side. But we do have a lot of officers in Colorado Springs, Denver here, and yeah, so it's been a good career. Lots of us have done it, and it's funny when you get together on a basis, a family. We start talking about different things, talking about kids, but a lot of us talk about, hey, what drugs did you buy or what happened recently? And if somebody were to walk into one of our family meals or something, they'd probably be like, what the hell are these people talking about? But yeah, it's been good. It's been good to our family.
Well, you said something that just excited the hell out of me, and that was hose draggers, because that's what every They hate it, but that's what we talk about firemen. Love them, right? Need when you if you want to ever see a moment where it's like a high five moment for firemen is watch when the structure's a total loss and they're still high fiving. Talk about positivity, right? It's like seriously, this structure's gone, and they'll rationalize it. They'll do the high fives, and then they'll say, "Yeah, but the one next to it's safe." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it before.
I,
they're different. So when you have your,
I'm gonna go ahead and make an apology right now to all the firefighters out there from the show. Rick's
hey,
old. Sometimes he goes off on these things. And
no, 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 no. This is I
I
love.
checked him out of the home earlier. He's generally in the secure ward. So
Well, you know who put me there was the fire department. No, I love firemen. I really do. I mean, the thing is, in all honesty, when you need them, right? I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
no question about that. And we've worked well with our, fire departments, and it is great. But I just love their just their confidence. Like I said, total loss, but they're high fiving because that house next door didn't burn, and that's hey, take the win,
yeah.
right?
Well,
But
So,
they're integrated in a lot of things these days where they weren't, whether it be Thames or things like that. So,
mhm.
there's been an evolution, and I think when the rubber meets the road and we need each other, we
yeah.
definitely back each other up there. So,
Oh yeah.
No doubt. I just love giving them crap. They give us crap. It's just one of those things. Plus, you got to respect them because they're America's heroes.
Yeah.
Just ask them.
We actually had we had quite a few that were on our that were our medics on our SWAT team.
Yeah.
Did a really good integration with between the PD and fire
And they're great shields.
and that really and that really helped out with strengthening the relationship overall between the fire department and the PD. So I think that was a good thing. So did you get your start in Pueblo?
I did, yeah. I graduated high school and I traditionally worked for Division of Wildlife all over the state, and then I worked for the Southern Utes, and that was in the middle of college. And after I got my bachelor's, I became a management person in FedEx and UPS. So I kind of jumped back and forth in logistics, and I was a package handler for years in college, and it was great. But I joined a men's fraternity in college, and it's Lambda Chi Alpha, and it's pretty service based, lots of philanthropy, community service. And I found several people throughout my career, but a lot of us became cops and officers. So a lot of us that were in our chapter and historically, to even include Matt Barden, who was a former DEA special agent. He's actually, I think he's with Walmart now, but I'd heard a podcast with him and I've known him for years because he was up in DEA. So I think service has kind of been that thing, but yeah, I was in college, worked for logistics for several years, but tested with lots of different agencies and had good opportunities. And tested with Colorado Springs, where a couple of my cousins are. Got hired there, but I got a big bonus with FedEx, and man, the money was great, and I felt like a GI or something. And I thought, man, I'm going to take this money and run. So I bought a brand new Xterra. I thought, man, I'm looking good, but something tugged at my heart for a long time. And so, born and raised in Pueblo PD called, and I had another fraternity brother, Jason Smith, who he's just getting promoted as a captain. But he was on about 6 months before me, and I went on some ride-alongs, and I thought, man, I got to get doing this. So when they called, I jumped at the chance, and that's why I ended up at Pueblo PD.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And your career is really taking you down some paths here, right?
Yeah, yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. Started in graveyards, and that was a great time where I learned from a lot of old school cops and really good cops that were smart and figured out how to solve problems. They made you earn your keep during the old FTO program,
Hmm.
and I loved it. It was just one of those things, and I got to say, but the common denominator amongst my career is my wife, yeah, because she, first of all, getting ready to get married to me, and I'm like, hey, I'm jumping in a new career, and God bless her, she's kind of looking at me like, I don't know about this guy. I'm getting ready to marry him. We're gonna have a baby, and God bless her that I've had her by my side because she's allowed me to do everything I want to do in my career and stood by me. So when we didn't get to take a honeymoon, but we got to go to some police psych testing in the middle of our honeymoon after we got married. Uh, I was like, man, this lady's pretty special. So God bless her for allowing me to do all this. But yeah, I started in graveyards and worked graveyard for about a year and a half to 2 years before they made me leave graveyard, and I had to go to a traffic assignment. So I ended up leaving
Oh,
graveyard.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
I would hate that. I
Yeah.
would just hate that. Our traffic unit was not something I ever wanted to do,
No.
ever.
Maybe on a
So
motor. Maybe on a motor would have been
no,
cool.
because I'm
But
prone. I would have. I would crash.
yes, you would.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
You know.
A motor would be cool, but
You know,
that's
if the
about it.
three of us were standing in a field, I'm the one that's going to get hit by lightning. So, so,
Well,
so it's,
I'd stand up for those traffic investigators because during the early part of my career, actually, we're aggressive, we're strong, we went out and caught a lot of bad guys, but I took on a suspension pretty early in my career. And one thing that I was accused of and told that I did was, you know, I didn't think it was right. I thought, man, but I needed to kind of look at myself and figure out where I want to go in my career. What was great about the traffic unit is I got to go become a traffic investigator and speed enforcement and reconstructionist, and I got to revamp my career, but never become negative. And so after that suspension, it really taught me like, hey, you got to make the best of it. And they gave me a body camera. They gave me an in-car camera. And I tell you what, it's probably one of the best things I ever did. So, thanks for Chief Billings back then that was able to let me rewrite my path. And some of those worst things you see is in those traffic units. You respond and you see families torn
yeah,
apart and bodies and
uh,
pieces. And I tell you, those
yeah.
traffic units, they really do a lot. I always wanted to be a motor guy because I want to be like Eric Estrada. Um, Now my wife's a nurse, God bless her, and she's let me do everything from buy guns and drugs from gangsters and cholos, and be on the bomb squad. But she's like, you're never going to drive a motorcycle. So my motor units it died pretty early. I wasn't able to do that. So.
Well, there you
Well,
go. So
you got to kind of listen to her at that point,
exactly.
especially if she's supporting you through the career.
And
Right?
when you
did.
have a spouse that supports you, I mean, that just makes all the difference in the world. We both have the same thing, and I did 5 years of undercover narcotics stuff and was not very good at it. I mean, would you sell me dope?
I mean,
I mean,
maybe.
come on. Not gonna happen. But I
I'd
was
make you
good.
pay for it.
I was good on the tactical side, so I did a lot of the tactical planning stuff because I couldn't buy dope to save my life, but that's okay. Everybody has their niche, right? But
Sure.
I mean, so we've all taken these paths and you've kind of ended up now as a task force officer, correct?
Well, let's get back to the bomb squad, right?
Oh, no,
Right. So I'm
no,
assuming you did bomb before you went to task force.
that's what,
No. Actually, I've only
really?
been on the bomb unit for about 6 years now. So I've been a task force narc for like over 19 years.
so
Holy cow.
are you outing yourself publicly now? I'm just
No,
thinking-
a couple years ago I became the recruiter.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so no, for quite a long time, over 19 years, I was a narc. And what was great is I got whisked away from the traffic unit, ended up becoming a part-time DEA TFO with a really good case and a good informant. And then they had the Met deployment back then. And so
Uh-huh.
DEA's mobile enforcement team came in town, and man, we worked our tail off. We had an amazing captain and sergeant back then, and we'd go to work at 4 in the afternoon and might not come home till 4 or 5 the next morning or afternoon. And so we did a lot of narc work, and that was great. But then an FBI Safe Streets case came up, and so I did just a special deputy for about a year and a half, and it's called Family Tradition. And it was a couple of females in town that their father was indicted and prosecuted by the government years ago for selling drugs. Well, they joined their family business, and so for about a year plus, we ended up. I was the undercover, and we're going up and down the Front Range buying guns and drugs and T3s, and had a really good time. And then ATF decided that
I've
hey, they
never
wanted to
thought of
start
T3 was fun.
well, it was great. We still
I've
got
never-
to do a lot of other stuff, but yeah, it's a monster. The information you get from it, but boy, to write the T3 and to manage it, it's pretty challenging.
Well, that's cool. So do me a favor.
Yeah.
You did the narcotics things, right? How did
sir.
you said you were undercover for a year, right? That's a long time.
Yeah, I was undercover for about a year plus with that case.
Yeah, that's a long
yeah.
time. So explain to us how you coped with that. I mean, your wife is obviously very, very understanding, right?
completely.
Um, but especially coming from where you're doing this, I mean, where your community's at, it's more of a more tight knit community than most, right? So doesn't that make that difficult?
You know, it does, and it did. I think the good thing is whenever we did a street enforcement or I do an interview, I always wear a balaclava.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so what was great is we had a really good program where we'd switch out a lot of vehicles. I moved out of town at that point, so even
Okay.
though I was
Yeah.
kind of raised in the hood in Pueblo, I really separated ourselves from it, and then we moved to the country, which was great. But being the fact that I could talk to some people, talk to my Uncle Ernie, to ask him about cases, about the backstopping. And then we had a really good priest here in Pueblo at that time. His name was Father Liam, and he was from Ireland. And it was great is I could go to him and just kind of talk about some struggles or stresses and things. And so he was, you know, non-officer, but he grounded me quite a bit. He was amazing for my family. So I really appreciate Father Liam, who ended up going back to Ireland. So,
So if you could think of one amazing case, uh, you kind of talked about this your long one, right? But not amazing case. If you could think about the best thing that you ever got to do working dope, right? What was it? You've
you know,
got
we
19 years
we
to pull from. Come on.
yeah. We've had so many cases, and I think that was great. Is whether it be uh, firearms cases with ATF or HSI that we've worked along with. Um, we had a pretty good murder for hire case that we had done and I had done. But really, I think just we've had some great cases. Buying explosives, I think were great cases, but really just trying to cut the head off the snake and putting some bad guys in jail in a totality. And the reason why I say that is because people think there's drug dealers and narcotics, and yeah, that's bad, but drugs destroys families, and we'd see informants come in, whether it be teenage people, middle-aged people, or older people that a husband would bring his wife in who used to work for maybe Department of Corrections or had a great job, but that woman unfortunately hooked up with an inmate who got out and started getting her hooked on drugs, and it tell you what, it destroys families, and the to see the issue of the destruction of illicit narcotics really destroy a family from the basis up, where parents don't come home anymore, they stop taking care of their kids, grandparents have to take care of them. I think we did a really good solid job by working with the local district attorney's office. Tony Marzavis has been an amazing partner, Caleb Ove, that we really put together really good cases that maybe we got a good felony now and they didn't go to the feds, but we built that case up so when we caught them again that we take them apart. So I've had just a really good career in a lot of cases. But buying guns has been great because it really they're all out there. We had a really good case, a guy named Will Coxon years ago out east of Colorado. And a lot of farmers just have that farmer shotgun rack that they'd hang up guns in. And this guy would break into good people's houses whenever they weren't home. It didn't matter their race, creed, or religion, and he'd steal all their items. He even broke into Bent's Fort years ago, and he had stolen a bunch of artifacts from Bent's Fort, and then he hit the Kit Carson Museum. So he had taken a revolver that was an antique that uh, probably would never get returned. Well, he'd drive to Pueblo and meet with this young Mexican kid who was me, and I'd buy the evidence from him. And so he'd sell me drugs and guns, and he sold me a full auto Sten machine guns that were fully silenced. And so that was a pretty good case. And then when he'd show up, sometimes he'd be smoking drugs, and his daughter's in the back of the car, different things like that. And so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just see, boy, but what it was neat is we really got to return all that evidence back, put a bad guy in prison. And then one day, my sons and I, we got to drive out to that Kit Carson Museum, and return that revolver, which they thought would never be back to him, return back to its rightful owner. So a thief is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
People steal stuff, but I
How
think we were
cool
able to
is
right
that?
some wrongs.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
cool is that though? You got to return it, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean
pretty awesome.
that's a memorable moment in somebody's career. I mean,
mhm,
I will tell you, and I'll tell you, you obviously remember back working dope. back during the first startup of the meth epidemic, right? And all these mobile labs and all this stuff. And God, I hated that. I hated that with a passion because you just the chemicals and all the stuff that you don't, the death bags, stuff
Yeah.
that, oh my God, and that was a different time. And I think back to that about how horrible that was. And now I look at what they're doing today. And I don't know that, I mean, you tell me if you agree, but I don't know if that even compares with what they're doing today with all this fentanyl and all this other stuff. I mean, wow.
Yeah, the evolution of the illicit narcotics is grown. We got brutally good at meth labs, boy. We had a great team that was mobile, and we had a rig that we'd go out and do a lot of that. We got a lot of skills, but boy, it was pretty dangerous, bad stuff. And then think about the legalization of cannabis in the state, and the spores and all the stuff that's inside these houses these days, and
Mhm.
and really the fact that it led to a ton of home invasions. I tell you what, boy, it just seems like that drugs are really their driving force and destroys family. And then you got the fentanyl in our exposure these days. Now we've got hoods where we can process evidence in, but boy, it's pretty dangerous. I'm just glad that we had a lot of training. I was able
Yeah.
to go to Quantico to go some Clan Lab school back in the day with DEA, and I really think our partnerships with state, local, and federal agencies, it just really makes us better when we all do stuff together. So I've been fortunate to be part of that.
Well, and Tom, so, nowadays, I mean, we all, officers have to carry Narcan and all this stuff. But when you were running a dog,
Mhm.
you were going into these places also,
Oh yeah.
and you're doing this stuff. And I mean, the risks to you and the dog
Oh yeah.
were just
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
you did have to be careful with that since they didn't get into anything and stuff. But for the most part, I mean, if they're trained right, then it's not that big of a deal, or as big of a deal, because we would have back then, you would have a passive alert dog or an aggressive alert dog, and all my dogs were passive alert, so they just sat. You get them aggressive alert dogs that would just start digging at it and
Oh,
whatnot. You're
yeah,
like,
can
no,
you imagine?
no,
Don't be
no,
doing
don't do that.
that.
Don't do that. So
Yeah. So I just like you said, that evolution of what we've seen coming around. And, like I said, I thought that was horrible. And now I'm looking at what we're seeing today. And I mean, first of all, I'm grateful. Thank God I'm not doing that anymore, that stuff. But
Mhm.
you think about all these men and women out there that are doing this for us, in uniform and undercover and stuff that are going into these environments. And you just can't help but think to yourself, wow. Now these are heroes, right? These are community heroes. I mean, who would willingly walk into something like that? Yeah.
well, and
Yep.
especially, I mean, they're putting fentanyl in like everything now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so the exposure risk is significantly high for that stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
So
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty fortunate. I think we haven't had many exposures around our agency, but I think the fact that we take those precautions with the Narcan, it just goes to show, we really want to go in and help people, but got to take care of ourselves. So
Mhm.
right.
Absolutely.
So you also have done bomb stuff.
that's right. Yeah, I after being in undercover for a while, we go by explosives, and we get a rundown on what explosives were and some different things. And uh, during the course of some training, I'd been graced the ability to go to ATF Advanced Undercover School for a couple of weeks, and that was an amazing experience because that EUP program is pretty amazing, and I'm friends with a lot of those agents still that they do some dangerous good work. But it kind of opened up my eyes to if I'm buying some of this evidence, how can I do it safely? But then how can I help with the prosecution? And I was so busy, and we ran at a really high up tempo. But at one point, when a position came open with our local bomb squad, I applied for a pair tech and was able to become as kind of like a junior bomb guy for a while until a bomb tech position came open. And then I was able to go down to Huntsville and be a certified public safety bomb tech. So
That's
Nice.
awesome. So let me do. We talked about this earlier, but I'm itching to do this. Hold your hands up.
actually, I got
Because I don't know. Every seasoned bomb guy I've ever seen only has like fingers like this You know, it's just like, first of all, that's the bomb tech I don't want to be around. Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, you gotta have a newfound respect for explosives and what they can
oh,
do, the energies, and boy, it's even we look at some of the recent stuff that's happened. We try to operate at a safe manner, but you got to respect everything and hope that everyone comes home safe. So
well, and it's interesting. You were going to say something, Will?
Well, I was going to ask you, so do you, in that role, as being a bomb tech, do you work with this, with the SWAT teams or anything like that for explosive entries, or do they have their own explosive entry guys?
yeah, no, so our our SWAT team has their own explosive entry guys. DC Ballas, who just recently got promoted, he had helped us start to do a little bit more reintegration with our bomb team and the SWAT team, and we had done that with ATF, so it was kind of great. As we had a couple cases where one guy in general in Colorado Springs was making a bunch of explosives, actually making some homemade grenades, and so you can buy the grenade bodies, and he was selling them to us undercover. We're able to buy the evidence, take him down. And so we actually integrated with the ATF SWAT team. And so we're kind of in the stack at one point. And I've got a really good bomb tech friend. His name's Gonzo. I'll just leave it at that because he's still working. But man, he's amazing. And so he helped us do some stuff. But yeah, we've integrated in tactical teams at times, but not as breachers. We leave that to the SWAT guys. But booby traps, declaring rooms, we do stuff like that.
Well,
More of like an EOD role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's interesting, and you're going to remember this, Tom, because I mean, yeah, explosive breaching is one thing, and that's great, and, but those are predetermined formulas, pre-built charges, stuff like that, most of the time, because when I went through explosive breaching certification, I mean, I sucked at math, so nobody ever wanted to stand near me. But but when you built those, I mean, that was that. But what you're doing, like the part of the EOD thing, right? And I was going to say, you're going to remember this. I think I gained the most respect for bomb guys, right? Was on that one call where we were on that barricade, and we end up in this house, and there's that
Oh yeah, dude.
formula for explosives and stuff. And we're looking at this, and he's got it all written out, and he's got all this junk. And I remember declaring, avalanche, avalanche. We're all getting out of there. And then these, the bomb guys have to go in there. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't get shaken fairly easy, but that one bothered me because this was straight up Kaczynski.
Yeah. Yeah, he had all the
That's
he had all the
Jesus.
materials. He just didn't have anything put together yet.
Oh my God.
So he had all the ingredients to make his barbecue, but he just hadn't started it yet. Thank God.
Well, those HME labs, the homemade explosive labs, depending on what type of chemicals are around, and they don't operate in the most sterile environment. Sometimes, it's in a garage or a shop, and there's powders or aluminum powder, and just you introduce heat shock or friction, no matter who or what you are, boy, that could do some harm. So it's just one of those things that you really never know. And we've got great partners. We practice a lot of stuff. After bomb school, we go to several different schools, AEDT with ATF, and then an E3 to take apart different devices to include grenades, safely take apart grenades and render them safe. But yeah, it could be pucker factor. I think what's kind of great is, how do you optimize your stress and mitigate the risk so that you can make sure that it's safe, collect the evidence if there's somebody making it. So it's really evolved from just years ago, you just blow stuff up once you come across something. But now what's great is as explosives bomb techs, we can actually take some of those devices if we know somebody's building them, we sample them, we do it in a systematic process where we preserve evidence, and then we take that SOB and we charge them and definitely put them away if we can.
Nice.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff to me. I mean, we've done calls and call out and entries where they'll have like an old grenade or they'll have this, and that's bad enough, right? But when you go into a house that you're looking at, this guy's got all these formulas and all the stuff to build bomb, and you now know this is probably booby trapped, right?
Yeah.
And that's a pucker factor. That's a big pucker factor. Have you experienced booby traps? I mean, we're starting to see these come up all over the news. I mean, especially today with all this stuff going on, with all the radical stuff on both sides, and we're starting to see this, and that's got to be crazy for you guys, right?
Yeah, we've had our experiences with victim activated bombs in some cases. We prosecuted down south, uh, got some really good evidence. But yeah, booby traps are one of those things. In being a narcotics detective in Clan labs, you look at it, whether they have booby traps, you go up to a Clan lab, but even cannabis grows up in the mountains where they may have some. There's always kind of booby trap areas that people are just trying to protect themselves. And then even homeless camps, we've had some folks historically that they want to make sure nobody else is messing with their stuff. And so, could be a punji pit where it looks like it's
Right.
ground, there's spikes underneath it. But there's lots of different techniques to even include, some airbags that, you can take an airbag and put it on a zipper of a tent. I mean, there's some like just whatever the heart desires for evil and ingenuity, people will come up with something to hurt somebody to protect themselves. So we've seen lots of things evolve over the years, and the good thing is we all talk to each other. So the trends, we try to get on top of those and educate each other, so we all come home safe and get it taken care of.
What would you say is the most intense moment you've had as a bomb tech?
You know, we've had a couple different packages. We had a really good bomb maker who was making some stuff in Trinidad several years ago, and pretty intense because it was a long case where we had to put together some evidence. So come together on a Friday night, Trinidad PD calls and says, "Hey, we think we had an explosion, but we think it's all okay. No reason to come down here." The
You
Pueblo Metro
think?
Bomb Squad are AORs from El Paso County down to New Mexico, and then from Wolf Creek all the way to Kansas. So we have a big area of responsibility. We didn't get to go down that Friday, and this has been several years ago, because they thought it was just something that may have happened, a little explosion. But early on, like Sunday, Monday morning of that following weekend, we get a really good phone call that says there's been an explosion and it's in Trinidad. We need you guys to come. And so it was below freezing, but we hop in the bomb truck. We call up all the ATF TFOs and special agents, and we roll down to Trinidad. Turned out it was a apartment complex where a victim activated bomb had gone off. And so what had happened is we had found that there was a wooden box that somebody had put a note on, and it said something like "Mom and Dad's wedding rings, don't open." Well, we didn't know anything about it, but we get there, set up a really big post blast area, and we start doing a grid search. What's great about the agency down there is Trinidad's got some really good officers and detectives. So we started looking at parts and components of where we could find this stuff at. We did get one officer that showed up, and what happened is, upon arrival, an officer shows up, and a young male. Unfortunately, he opened up this box standing next to another individual. As he opens it up, it explodes. It takes off part of his face. He loses an eye. He loses several fingers and parts of his hand. They treat him and they whisk him away. That's when we get the phone call and we go down there. So we show up. We do the post blast to figure out parts and pieces. Start looking at batteries and different things that could be part of it. Within a matter of hours, and this is why I think task forces are great, is because we're a force multiplier. So by noon, 1 o'clock that day, we probably had 20 plus special agents, TFOs that were down in Trinidad. We located parts and pieces that could be purchased around town, to even include maybe a Walmart. And so we roll up to Topol Drive where Walmart is, and start looking at items that were purchased that composed of this explosive device. One thing that's interesting about explosive device, it may not be the shrapnel and everything, but sometimes the pressures that could kill you. But it doesn't just dissipate. It could go into a million pieces. And if we put all those million pieces together, we can actually find out what that explosive device is made of. Well, we were able to do that in a number of hours because of the really good investigative techniques. When we went to Walmart and said, well, here's 4 of the 5 items or 6 items, we actually found a video of our suspect. I'm not going to say
Wow.
his name because
Sure.
it'll kind of just entice him, but he actually purchased those items in a self checkout stand. So he was there with his girlfriend, wife, and turns out that he was one of our main suspects, or the suspect, as it turned out to be. So we started kind of looking at some different things. We did get some information that led us to a search warrant to his wife's residence. We get a search warrant, and she says, "Yeah, this is he made me write that note. And so she told us the reason why he wrote the note, or she wrote the note for him, is because they were upset at a local drug dealer across the street. Turns out that the local drug dealer was the gentleman standing next to the kid that blew his hand up. And so this person, the bad guy, went and placed this box in front of the bad guy's house, the drug dealer. They open up the box and it blows up. So we had a really good idea who it was at that time. We ended up drafting some search warrants with the local agencies, helping them with that. And by like 6 o'clock that evening, we just had a tactical team that we took the gentleman down, and we were able to get him to the station. And I think that's one thing I really enjoy about policing is working together and kind of coming to a common mission. He didn't want to talk at first, but my old partner, Greg Egan, and I call him my work wife, and we're partners for a long, long time. And we went in, did a good interview and interrogation, and were able to get him to flip after a couple of hours of talking to him. So he admitted that he did make him, but he wasn't the main builder. And so what happened is we ended up putting him in custody that night. We found out exactly who the bomb maker was, and that was good. But we heard about another suspect, and that's what leads us up to the more dangerous kind of situation. We found out there's another suspect by the name of Jose Cuervo, and so as we try to look for Jose Cuervo, he's not in town anymore. He heard about the explosion and about this guy getting arrested, so we were able to track him. About a month later, he comes back into Colorado. In the middle of the night, we go and grab him in the forest. We were able to bring him down to Trinidad, start another interview with him, and he says, "Actually, I've got another bomb, and me and this other guy made it." And so we're thinking, "Okay, yeah, sure you do." He said he put it up in the woods outside of Trinidad. So we ended up having him take us up there, shackles and all. He's belly chained, and he takes us to the middle of nowhere. And he says, "Oh yeah, up there by this cattle guard way station, that's where I placed the bomb." And what he said is this was the first bomb that a number of bombs that this bad guy had made. And what it was a flashlight. So if you punch the flashlight on the back, that it would blow up. So this original bad guy wanted Jose Cuervo to drop it in front of the bad guy's house. Jose Cuervo was smart enough not to do that at that time. So what he ended up doing is he took it and he hid it up in the woods where we ended up gathering it. So as we start kind of taking it apart, when I wasn't a bomb tech at the time, but we start taking it apart, we find that bomb. And so we get a robot up there because we want to go remote, try to do that as much as possible. As we go to gathering it, it's like February, it's really early in the morning. The robot goes to twist it and grab it. It falls down and man, it blows up. So we're pretty glad that it didn't affect the bomb tech. But man, it was one of those pucker factors. Like, man, these guys were making really, really good bombs. We're able to put a bunch of people in jail, Jose Cuervo and the bad guy Buddy, and the wife even got prosecuted for being part of it. But that was a pretty intense situation because a lot of people were calling in Trinidad. There's a unattended pack and package and things. And they didn't know whether it was the bomb maker or not, but we were able to catch the bomb maker, and he got 30 plus years in prison. Nice. So it's kind of an intense situation for a long time, but man, we were able to bring some peace to that community and get them taken care of.
So this sort of spun off because of the dynamics of this community. Is it kind of spun off as there was a perception that there's a serial bomber?
There was, yeah, for a long time. They were just wondering, and we'd get a lot of calls down there, might try to mitigate it, but and he really was the true thing. He was making bombs, and from a young age, he was building animal traps that would electrify animals, life traps and things. And so whatever, we found out that after examining his phone, that he really he had some psychosis from drug use, mental illness, and
you throw my shocked look really, on.
Yeah. We did find that he in his phone that he used drugs, but he placed a GoPro right in front of his residence to try to catch the bombing too. So we're able to work. Wow. We had a really great U.S. attorney. His name is Kurt Bond up at the U.S. Attorney's office, and he really showed us how to prosecute and help a good case and show justice. And so we recreated that particular scene, put it all in the case, and he took 30 years. But yeah, this guy was a pretty sick individual, but I'm glad we got him out of that community.
Well. So listening to you, how you talk about this stuff, and there's clearly a passion there, right? So I can hear it. And we had kind of talked before, right? And you're real service oriented, right?
That's right.
Let's talk about that for a second. Tell us what that means to you.
Yeah, you know what? my grandparents came here from Mexico and wanted a big, good future for us. I think the American dream, and I think that's one thing that this country provided for us. But I always said, be a good American, work hard, uh, get an education, serve in the country's military, which a lot of my family has, and I think that's one regret. I didn't get to do that. I was set to go to the Marines after college, but I got too good at logistic jobs, and that's really been a tugged at my heart for a long time. But um, we've had a lot of family members who are educators. I was at uh, a luncheon yesterday at the University of CSU Pueblo with Dr. Henry Roman, who he was a hardworking cousin of ours. He was able to become a lifetime member and a Hall of Famer because he just worked his tail off in education. But a lot of us have been service oriented in classrooms. And so my grandfather always said, get a good job, get a government job and a good pension. And that's what a lot of, I think we've looked at. And so when it comes down to service, whether it be my Uncle Ernie, my cousin Al up in Colorado Springs, so he's a 30-plus-year motor cop. He was the motor cop, he still is. Um, my cousin Andy Genta up north, my son Brock and my cousin Damon, who is a 10th group guy. He's serving up in Denver at the academy, and he's got a couple of kids that are rising through the ranks, and we hope that they're gonna join the PD soon because one's a recon Marine instructor. We really have that service based in us, and I think it's great because my Uncle Ernie kind of paved the path. I think locally we got to see him driving a Ford Mustang years ago with camo fatigues and didn't know what he did, but he's buying evidence with narcs. And it's pretty neat. Is my Nino, my Uncle Lou, who was the fireman, he became a deacon, and so he became a deacon within the Catholic Church. My Uncle Ernie's now a deacon up in Denver in that diocese. And then I've got another Uncle Reuben, where he had a good career in the Navy, and then he worked for a power plant locally. He's climbed all the way up to the top, and so he's going through the diaconate process now. I think a lot of us have that service-based need in our heart to help other people, and I think that's really one thing that I try to promote in my boys, and my wife and I have always want our boys to not be perfect, but be good boys and good men, and work hard and provide for their families. So, service has been really one of the foundations, I think, of the Roman family and everybody that we've been around, and law enforcement's just right up our alley.
Sounds like you come from an absolutely exceptional family.
We're pretty hard workers. I like to say I don't think anybody could outwork us, but we really were provided a good opportunity, and who are we to sit by and just let a good opportunity take by and not take a hold of it. So yeah, we do. We've got a great family. It's not perfect by all means, but it really is a good family. My mom and dad always worked a couple different jobs, a full-time job and a part-time job to make ends meet. And I think I look at them and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and we didn't know it, and we had to put clothes on layaway at Kmart or whatever we did, or at Sears, Montgomery Wards when that existed. For the youngsters, they'll have to Google that to figure out what Wards is. But I think it's just one of those things. You see those people in the example that they set and went through, and you really try to do that. And I can tell you that, like with my wife, she works her tail off. She's been a nurse for 25+ years, and we just want to provide for our family, and then go on a vacation, maybe drink a cold beer and see the world. So we've been pretty fortunate.
Nice.
I like
That's
that.
awesome,
I
man.
like that
That's
a lot.
awesome.
And I'll tell you, it's such a small world though, because like I was telling you before the show, right?
Mhm.
Your Uncle Ernie, I remember him so well, and he was an icon. And he was, up in Denver.
Uh-huh.
He was an icon in narcotics and stuff. And you just look at that, and you remind me a lot of that of my interactions with him. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I can't go anywhere, and I really think you paved the path for us. But I can go to the metro area and meet a lot of guys who are on the bomb squad, or Jack Bishop, who's with Denver PD, or Jason Kerrigan, and there's just so many guys that I think he interacted with, and he really helped us out in our career, because we talk about him, and he finished his career at DIA. And I think you look at some cops and they think it's a place to go and retire, and he wasn't about to do that. But he did go out there and he changed some things. And it's funny because I'll bump into a Denver PD guy as I'm going through TSA here or there talking to him. And I find a lot of people say he's a really good man. He cared about us and he took care of us. And I think that's one thing that, you can meet a fellow, if you can be a carpenter or a teacher or a plumber, and you can go across the world and meet another plumber in Spain or wherever. Yeah, there's kind of a bond, but boy, you go to another country, you go to another community, and you meet another cop, and there's already that bond. And I think that's one thing that's special as far as us first responders and law enforcement is there's not a greater bond than us, and soldiers have the same thing, airmen, Marines. And so I think a lot of us that are service based, and whether they leave their career and decide to enter in and they join the police force, man, it's really, we're all cut from the same fabric. It's pretty neat. I had a Texas cop yesterday call me. He's coming to an air show here this weekend in Pueblo, and here's my number, whatever you need. And so it's kind of one of those things. You can join any other career in this world. You don't have that bond like we do as officers and cops. So.
Well,
Agree.
I agree. And I think it's wonderful. So if you could say something to the new generation coming in, right?
Mhm.
Maybe not in law enforcement yet, and to those who are just entering law enforcement, right? What would that be? What would you say to them?
I think try to make a difference. And if it's in law enforcement, that's great. If it's in another sector, work hard. Put your head down and work hard. Realize that life isn't easy. But if you have faith in your life, because there's going to be tough times, try to have some faith based to know that you're going to need some help one of these days, and mom and dad may not be there. But really to put your nose down and work hard, and if you're gonna complain to a small group, but really just work hard. Try to be physically fit, be mentally sound, and have a good circle base of folks that you can talk to. But really do what's passionate for you. And if it means that you're in a 30-year role as a construction guy, but you're like, man, something's missing. I want to help the community, and you want to be a cop or a fireman or a dispatcher. Those are some really, really honorable careers, and we need them now more than ever. But we just need good people. We don't need perfect people. Lord knows I wasn't perfect growing up.
Mhm.
I was pretty good at getting in trouble, and my parents, they definitely were there to help take care of me. But I think it's just one of those things. We can work hard, and the fruits of our labor will be there if we really just kind of follow faith, and then follow a good hard work ethic.
So
Outstanding.
one more question for you, because I really want to end on this. Given the status of the world right now with I mean, the views of law enforcement and stuff like that. And we know over the last 4 or 5 years, how that has sort of changed, right? And it's a pendulum thing, and I get that. And Tom and I, we talk about that all the
Mhm.
time, right? But if you had something that if you were given a podium for a national audience, what would you say to the American people about law enforcement and service and stuff like that? And given what you know and what we see today.
I think being an officer and being a human is one of those things that nobody's perfect. A lot of people make mistakes, but one thing about our profession is if somebody isn't practicing the right technique, if they're not doing the right thing because of wrong policy, we're the first to change it and make it right. Not only do we hold ourselves to a high standard, but we correct it, and we've tried to find solutions and really try to make the community better. We live in a community in Pueblo where we have an amazing community. We have a new police foundation that they're supporting us like crazy. We have extra taxes for public safety, but really good people want us to serve. And if we find a bad one who's not doing the right thing, they're the first one that we get out. But there is a learning curve, just like was with me. And if we can find somebody who isn't perfect but really wants to serve, please find a community and try to do that. But I think as law enforcement, we do the right thing, and we strive to do the right thing, because not that it's politically correct, not because it's the newest social norm, but because we really do. We're the ones that we're the peacekeepers. And so give the officers some grace, because they're under a lot of stress. They have stuff going on at home, but really they're there to serve you. And nobody ever calls a cop to really just thank them. They really call them in their worst time.
Mhm.
But our cops are resilient, and really just it's a good time to become an officer, because I think right now we need good people in situations, but it's a great career. And I think social norms are different. But one thing that's great about us is we are, we're pretty resilient. We can find solutions to lots of things. We help people. We're not perfect at times, but I tell you what, it's a good thing to have an officer in your back pocket to help you. And it's just it's a good time right now, I think. And it's a challenging time, but it's a good time, I think, because we have a lot in our future. And if we keep going up the way we are with good leadership, like here at the city, we've got amazing leader at the top of our agency and the city, with the mayor and with the chief. I think we've have those type of people that really support the country and the community. That's all we want. We all just want to have the American dream. We want to live and take care of our families and have a little bit of peace and enjoy life. So I think that that definitely gives it to us in law enforcement.
Cool.
Right on.
What do you think, Tom? Anything you want to add into this?
No, I think I'm good.
Well, there you have it, guys. Roman, I will tell you, I think that honestly, I can honestly say that you do have a passion for service. I mean, and I think that's true with your family. I mean, you can see it. And I guess what I would say imparting here for those who are listening is you represent, I would honestly say you represent all that's good in public service, but you represent the majority of us who are or have served in public service. And this is what people need to see. You know, these are what they need to see. It's easy to see the negative. I mean, that grabs headlines, but the good stuff rarely does, and the good people rarely do. So thank you.
No, it's been my pleasure. It's good to talk to two new brothers, because you always got my phone number. If you want a hot meal, a cold beer, some Pueblo chili down here, we got you. But
Oh, you're not going down there to do that. You can't. You and your this man has like if it's above frozen, he doesn't want to eat it.
Ketchup is actually hot sauce, man.
It is, well, I love it, and you've got our number. We should do this, and hopefully we'll have you on soon again. We'll talk about some more things. And again, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And that's all, folks, for this episode. Join us next time. You can find us on YouTube at
Life on the Streets, the greatest show on earth.
There you go. See, I just love the way he says it. Kind of Life on the Streets, greatest show on earth.
Whatever.
All right, folks. Thanks. Have a great one. We'll see you in the next episode.